Seven people went out on a yacht to party and have a good time, but this would end up being one of the worst nights of their lives. If you see the like button at a party, go to give them a high five, but swing really hard and miss, turn around and punch that like button right in the back of the head. So in this story, Lisa, Kim, and Tammy are three friends who are on vacation in Spain. Lisa and Kim thought this would be a good way for Tammy to let loose and have a little fun after her recent breakup. Her boyfriend was cheating on her with her oldest best friend, and she just needed to let loose. So while they're at a club, they meet Marcus, Bluey, and Josh. The three of them are having a good time, and the boys steal a giant bottle of wine. So the six of them, they run off out onto the beach and start drinking. While they're out there talking, the boys invite the girls to come party on their yacht. Tammy was feeling hesitant about this and wasn't sure, but Kim and Lisa both told her it's all going to be okay. We'll just go out to the yacht for a little bit, and then we're going to head back in and go to the clubs. When they get to the boat, they meet Sean, which happens to be Josh's brother. The four guys, they all work on this boat together, but none of them actually own it. So the girls start playing music, and Sean tells them they're being too loud, and they have to turn it down. So then the girls look to themselves, they're like, this isn't really that much fun. We thought it was going to be better. How about we just get off this boat and we'll go back to the clubs and have a good time? But then Marcus comes up with this great idea. He's the skipper right now. So they can take this boat right out to sea and they can party and they can play music as loud as they want to and they're not going to get in any trouble. And he tells Sean, hey, we can just say that we're emptying the boat. Nobody will know. Everything is fine. So everyone agrees, and all the girls are pretty excited. They're going to get to go party out on the ocean. They're going to get to see the sunset on the ocean. It's going to be a good time. So Bluey starts passing out ecstasy to everyone so they can really have a good time. And they park the boat right in the middle of the ocean, and they all jump in to go swimming. Bluey starts talking about these really weird sex stories. First he mentions getting tarmacked, and then the girls join in talking about a dirty Sanchez. And then Bluey asks them if they ever heard of the donkey punch. This content is going to get a little explicit because I have to explain said donkey punch to tell this story. So, the donkey punch is when a man is taking a woman from behind and right before he finishes, he's going to ball up his hand and he's going to punch her right in the back of the head by the spine, creating involuntary spasms and clenching. They laugh as Bluey explains this, and Bluey decides they all need to do some more drugs. So he says they're going to go do some Russian ice, which is just another name for crystal meth. So Lisa, Kim, Marcus, Bluey, and Josh, they all go in the master bedroom so they can fool around. Tammy and Josh, they're both on top of the boat still talking. And they both are talking about how they just got out of serious relationships that ended horribly. And during this whole conversation, they kind of end up bonding over this and they start making out. Meanwhile, Marcus and Kim start fooling around and having sex. And Bluey and Kim also do the same. Bluey tells Josh to grab the video camera and make himself useful. But then Bluey feels bad for Josh and he lets Josh step in while he works the camera. So Josh is taking Lisa from behind and Bluey's yelling at him, go harder, you know what to do. And Josh gets overly excited, he balls up his fist, and he hits the donkey punch on Lisa. And she falls immediately to the bed and she's not moving. They start freaking out and they're checking, but they can't find a pulse anywheres. Lisa just died. So as they freak out, they don't know if maybe she overdosed on the drugs or had an allergic reaction to them. But then the guys watch the tape back and they can tell that the punch is what killed her. So due to this situation, the trip is cut short and they start taking the boat back towards shore. The girls assume they're going to go back and report what happened, but then the boys start talking. They're all getting really paranoid, they're going to get into trouble, and they have to devise a plan. So they talk, and the plan is they're going to throw Lisa's body overboard and say that she was drunk and doing drugs and fell in the water. The guys start telling the girls that it's in everyone's best interest that they do it this way and bury Lisa at sea. But Kim says, you guys killed Lisa and it's on tape. I saw you taping it before. But before that, Bluey had thrown the camera into the ocean, so Josh looks at Kim and says, what tape? So Bluey's stuck watching the girls and keeping them at bay while the others grab Lisa's body. They wrap it up in a sheet and they take it to the back of the boat. They tie rope around the body and they're going to attach this anchor to the body so that it sinks. And Bluey, he's telling the girls to sit, and Tammy says she's not a dog. But he pushes her and forces her to the ground and says, good girl. Kim grabs a knife and threatens to stab Bluey and Josh. She runs to the back of the boat where Kim is, and she sees Marcus and Sean with their body wrapped in a sheet. Kim tells them to get away from her or she's going to stab them. Marcus stands up and he walks over to Kim and he grabs her arm, pulling it behind her back, making her drop the knife. Bluey and Sean then hurry up and throw the body off the boat. Kim is screaming and crying and acting frantically. Marcus asks her if she wants to join her friend. Lisa's body then floats to the surface, and Marcus sees that the anchor was never attached to the body. So he hurries up, he grabs the anchor, and he jumps into the ocean. He ends up tying the anchor to her body, and he stays there in the water, watching her body slowly descend into the ocean. Kim and Tammy then run to the control room, and they try calling using a radio, but they can't figure out how to get the radio to work. They end up starting the boat, and they move it, and they nearly run Marcus over with the propeller. Bluey then runs, and he catches up to the girls, and he attacks them to get them to stop moving the boat. But between the two of them, they fend him off, they knock him down, and then they take off running through the boat. Sean ends up cornering Tammy in a room and calmly explains to her that they need to stop acting crazy, and everything is going to be okay. Josh then goes up to the controls room, and he sees Bluey there. Bluey's kind of freaking out, and so is Josh, because they think the girls, they're going to try to tell the truth when they get back to shore. And Bluey explains that there's no body, there's no proof. It's literally their word against ours, and that's just not going to hold up in court. But then Josh explains to Bluey that they're in the clear anyways, because whatever happens on a boat out to sea, 100% of the responsibility falls directly on the skipper. So Marcus is the only one who's going to get in trouble for this. And Bluey looks at Josh and tells him, "Do you really think I'm going to let Marcus take the fall for what you did?" And he tells him, "You're not the only one who has tricks up their sleeve." And he threw the camera in the water, but there he is, still holding the tape. So Marcus starts explaining to the girls that when they get to international waters, they're going to stop the boat and they're going to call the accident in. He decides everybody's acting a little crazy, and the best thing for them to do for now is to sit down, relax, and eat something. While eating food, Josh tells Marcus how Bluey still has the tape. He thinks Marcus is going to be mad because the plan was to destroy the tape. But then Marcus explains to Josh how he knew Bluey had the tape all along and that he wasn't going to take the fall for what Josh did. Bluey then starts having a conversation with the girls, but they're not really responsive after everything that happened. And he tells Tammy that her boyfriend probably cheated on her because she's too uptight. And then he tells her that maybe they should go make a tape and send it to her ex-boyfriend to show him what he's missing out on. She still doesn't respond. He then leans in and tries to kiss her, and she grabs a knife off the table and stabs him in the chest, on the side, away from his heart. But with all of his wheezing, you can tell that he got stabbed directly in the lung. So Marcus grabs Tammy and starts choking her. But Sean gets up and he runs his shoulder into Marcus, causing him to drop Tammy. Tammy and Kim then run into the master bedroom, slam the door shut, and they lock it. They're looking all around the room, and they see like a little window in the ceiling, and they end up climbing out of that to get to the surface of the boat. They then find a nice little raft boat, and they put it on the side, and they climb into it, and they start to drift away. Sean and Josh finally break down the door to the master bedroom, and they see the girls escape through the window hatch in the ceiling, so they run to the top of the boat to see if they can find the girls. At this point, Tammy's afraid that they're going to be stuck out at sea and probably end up dying, or when sunlight comes out, the boys are going to find them anyways. So she grabs a flare and she pulls it to shoot it off. Kim freaks out and she shoves it in the water because she doesn't want to alert the boys, but it was too late. They saw the disturbance in the water and start driving the boat over to them. When they get over to the raft, Sean throws a rope to them and tells them they should get on the boat. They tell him no. And then Marcus shows up with a shotgun pointing at them, and he tells them, "Get on the fucking boat now." So Kim grabs a flare and shoots it at Marcus. It goes right into his torso. It starts setting him on fire, and he's burning, and he's flailing around, and he jumps in the water, but it doesn't stop the flare, and it ends up melting his entire torso. Sean gets the girls back on the boat, and he puts them in a room, but then Josh hurries up behind him, shuts the door, and breaks the handle so the girls can't escape. Kim starts freaking out on Tammy, telling her, "We wouldn't be in this situation if you didn't stab Bluey. And if you didn't try to shoot the flare, the boys wouldn't even know where we were." Tammy just snaps for a second, and she smacks Kim hard across the face and tells her to shut the fuck up. So then Sean, he tells Josh to go find the keys. So Josh, he goes and looks for them in the master bedroom, and he does find them, but he puts them in his pocket. And when he gets back, he tells Sean that he could not find the keys, so they must have been on Marcus when Marcus jumped into the ocean. So Sean tells Josh, go call the medevac for Bluey or else he's going to die. And then Sean goes to the engine room and he's going to try to hotwire the engine to get it started again. Josh doesn't go call the medevac though. Instead, he gets Bluey to get up and he moves him into the bathroom down the hall. He sits him down on the toilet and Bluey asks Josh to help him. Josh slowly shuts the door behind him and he starts asking Bluey where he put the tape, but Bluey doesn't say anything. Meanwhile, at this time, Tammy grabs a heavy object and she just starts hitting the glass in the window in the door and it starts to crack, but she feels like it's taking too long, so she wraps herself in a blanket and just starts smashing her body into the glass. She eventually breaks through the glass and Kim asks if she's okay and she says yes, but then she ended up pulling like a large piece of glass right out of her kneecap. And Kim heads down toward the engines and she sees Sean in that room and she locks the door so he can't get out. Tammy goes over to the bathroom door and overhears Bluey tell Josh the tape is under the bed in the master bedroom. So she takes off to go get the tape and Josh gives Bluey some more drugs to help with his pain. Tammy hurries and hides in the closet and she sees Josh come barging in the room. He's lifting up the bed, but he can't find this tape anywhere. As he starts throwing shit, he's getting so pissed off. He storms back to the bathroom. Josh isn't playing games anymore. He starts grabbing the knife. He's pushing on it and moving it around, telling Bluey he wants to know where the tape is. And Bluey's crying and telling him, I told you it's in the bedroom. But Josh doesn't believe him, and he really starts moving that knife around quite a bit. And Bluey just keeps telling him the same thing. It's in the bedroom. So Tammy runs past the bathroom and yells at Josh that he doesn't have it. So Josh grabs the knife that was in his chest and he pulls it out. Blood starts pouring out of the hole and Bluey slowly dies. Josh then comes out of the bathroom and tells Tammy he was losing too much blood and there was nothing he could do. She calls him a liar and asks about going home. Josh says, we can't go home. We don't have any boat keys. At that time, she looks down and she can see the keys in his pocket. He then starts to walk slowly closer to her, asking her how she knew he didn't have a tape. As she gets even closer, Kim comes barging into the room, pointing a shotgun in Josh's face. She orders him up to the control room and tells him to start the boat and take them home. He puts the keys in and he starts the boat. Tammy then goes to find Sean and she ends up finding him in the engine room. She unlocks the door to let him out. At this time, Josh is trying to convince Kim that they don't want the tape getting out because it makes them all look bad. They can say that Marcus and Bluey killed Lisa and then they wound up getting in a fight with each other and killed each other. Kim drops the gun for a second thinking about it and Josh punches her right in the face, steals the gun, and runs after Tammy. He points the gun at her and tells him he wants that damn tape. Sean knocks him to the ground and steals the gun. He stands there as Tammy and Josh are sitting on the floor. He's pointing the gun at them, telling them this needs to stop now. Everything has gone too far. But Kim, she sees a trolling motor meant for the raft, and then she looks out the doorway and she sees Sean pointing this gun at what she thinks is Tammy. She grabs the motor, she starts it, and she just comes running in, charging it with the propellers spinning, stabs it right into his chest and through his neck, slices him up, blood sprays everywhere. Tammy and Josh both start crying. Kim leaves to go to the top of the boat, and Tammy follows her and explains to her while crying that Sean was trying to help them. And then Kim just became overwhelmed with guilt, and she just jumped off the boat, killing herself. So Tammy and Josh, they decide they need to get off this boat. And they grab the raft boat, and they get inside it, and they push it off the yacht. Tammy grabs a rope that was attached to the yacht as they drift away, and Josh pulls out a knife and tells Tammy he wants the tape. Tammy sees the rope is starting to slowly get tight, and she hurries up and she throws the loop around Josh's neck, and it completely yanks him back and snaps his neck. Tammy lays down in the raft and finally shoots the flare into the sky, waiting for someone to save her.